the Oman came in and they have arrested him.
Did they use any physical force?
Of course. Well,
Have they been equipped with weapon or anything
yes,
like this?
and we all were being checked, and they were standing in front of us with guns, and they were just. Well, we didn't know what to do because we didn't. They were checking our suitcases, but at the same time, they were arresting the journalist, the guy.
Ben Aris, who used to be a reporter in Russia. Good to see you again, Ben. What do you make of this?
It's shocking, isn't it? I mean, Lukashenko has really gone beyond any acceptable boundaries here, that they've used a military MiG-29 fighter to force a commercial plane, a civilian plane, down, specifically to arrest Roman Protasevich, who is a key person in the whole Belarusian uprising. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, she ran as a candidate against Lukashenko and probably won the elections. However, the spontaneous protests that followed on the same day as the elections have largely been leaderless. I mean, this is the most unusual thing about the revolution, that there's no leader on the ground. Tikhanovskaya fled into exile in Lithuania within a few days. However, you could make a strong argument that Protasevich is the effective leader of the revolution, in so much as Nechte, the Telegram channel, was not only supplying information, but it was actively coordinating the crowds and telling them where the police were and getting everybody to move in en masse, to march on the presidential palace, or to go down, one street if it was blocked off by the police, to go down the other street. And Roman was playing a key part of that role there. They were coordinating the information and then broadcasting it to the crowds who were receiving it live in real time on their Telegram channels. So this is why Lukashenko is so keen to arrest him, why he's going to such extremes in order to bring this journalist in, who's also been in exile, first in Poland and now in Lithuania.
What's the state of the opposition movement in the country in terms of, has the government managed to suppress most of it? Does this action to detain Protasevich suggest that Lukashenko is just as concerned as he would have been this time last year?
He's certainly concerned. I mean, he's not regained control. He's managed to crush the protest, and over the winter, the break, because of the cold weather, it's failed to restart. There's Tikhanovskaya called for a march in March, and there was a turnout, but it's not the mass 100,000, 200,000 people what we saw last summer. It may kick off again. However, although the protest movement has died down, the people are still adamantly opposed to him, and the situation hasn't improved. And what this arrest is all about is more terrorizing the population. The message that Lukashenko is trying to send is that if you stand against me, I will get you, and I'll put you in jail for as long as I can. And it's more repression, but he's got no way out. I mean, this is all he can do, is terrorize the people and stay in charge on solely the authority of the security services and the help that he's getting from Putin. And so we're sort of stuck in this standoff still. And poor Protasevich is now going to be thrown into jail for at least 15 years. Probably more, and he will stay there until Lukashenko comes out of office.
And is there anything that outside actors can do here? I mean, the EU is going to discuss imposing possibly more sanctions in the next few hours. But so far, have any of the EU sanctions made any difference to the leadership in Belarus?
No, none. The problem is that Belarus is not engaged in the EU, that there's no EU investment in Belarus, that it remains a sort of pariah state in that sense. The trade it has is mainly commodities. It produces potash, it transports Russian oil and gas, which go into commodity markets, and you can't sanction commodities, so they're too easy to sell to traders elsewhere. And the products that it does produce, like mining trucks and tractors, they're mainly sold within the CIS. And so the EU has absolutely no leverage at all. Belarus doesn't even have an oligarch class, so you don't even have oligarchs with houses in London and Nice that you could sanction. I mean, there's a small group of businessmen close to Lukashenko, but they live largely in Belarus, and they don't have assets abroad, so there's nothing to seize there. So in this sense, the EU is almost completely helpless to make a difference. I mean, the sanctions they're talking about, closing Belarusian airspace, closing the border to trade, would certainly hurt, but I think Lukashenko is quite willing to take that pain because it's not particularly painful.
Ben, thank you so much indeed. Ben Arris speaking to us from Berlin.